All right, Jays fans, let's get into it, because there's a lot going on in this organization right now, and I've got opinions, so buckle up. We just watched Toronto go into Tampa Bay and absolutely take care of business in Game 1 of the series. And if you didn't catch it, I need you to understand how fun this was. Final score, 10-5, Blue Jays. Not a nail-biter, not a hang-on-for-dear-life type of win, a statement win. And honestly, that's exactly the kind of energy this team needs to be bringing into the stretch run. Alejandro Kirk was an absolute problem for the Rays' pitching staff all night. 3 hits, a home run, 3 runs batted in. He was named player of the game, and honestly, was there ever any doubt? This guy has quietly been one of the most important bats in that lineup all season, and I still don't think he gets talked about enough outside of Toronto. Ernie Clement was right there with him too, and between the two of them, they combined for 5 runs and 6 hits on the night. That's not just a good game. That's 2 guys carrying an offense on their backs. Now, if you're new here, hit that like button right now, because this channel lives and dies by the algorithm treating Jay's content right, and every single like tells YouTube, hey, more people need to see this. So do that for me before you keep watching. Okay, here's where I actually want to vent a little bit, because there's a piece of news buried in all this that deserves way more attention than it's getting. Toronto made a roster move during this series that I think is genuinely one of the more exciting under-the-radar developments this organization has had in a while. They promoted Edward Duran. Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell yet, it will. Duran is a 22-year-old catcher, a big kid, listed around 6 feet tall and pushing 200 pounds, and he originally came into this organization back in 2022 as part of a deal with the Marlins. He's been grinding through the minor league system ever since, and this year he's forced the front office's hand. Here's what gets me fired up. Duran spent the bulk of this season with the Vancouver Canadians, and the numbers are not flashy on paper if you just glance at them, but if you actually dig in, this is a kid who's been producing. 44 games, 39 hits, 7 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs, 18 runs batted in, batting .231. Now I know what some of you are thinking. That average isn't jumping off the page, but for a catcher at his age, doing damage in the gaps like that, driving in runs consistently, that's a real prospect profile. That's a kid who understands the strike zone and isn't just hacking away trying to pad a highlight reel. And then Toronto bumps him all the way up to Double-A with the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. And what does he do in his very first game at that level? 2 hits, 2 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a walk, all in just 3 at-bats. Are you kidding me? That is not a fluke stat line. That is a kid who shows up to a new level and immediately looks like he belongs. If that's not a signal that this organization has something cooking behind the scenes at the catcher position, I don't know what is. And look, I get why nobody's talking about this. Everybody's locked in on the big league roster. Everybody's watching Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Everybody's watching the trade deadline conversations. But this is exactly the kind of move that fans sleep on, and then 2 years later, everybody's acting surprised when a guy is starting behind the plate at the Rogers Center. Remember, I said it here first. If you're feeling that with me, drop a comment right now and tell me what you know about Edward Duran, because I want to see how many of you were already paying attention to this kid before today. Seriously, comment section. Let's talk about it. That's how this channel grows. That's how the algorithm knows real people are actually engaging with this stuff, not just watching and scrolling away. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I have to be honest with you, this next part frustrates me a little bit as a fan. Before that second game against Tampa Bay even started, the organization made what I can only describe as a quiet, almost buried announcement about Alejandro Kirk. No big press conference energy, no major rollout, just a low-key drop of information regarding his future with this club. And listen, I don't love that. If this guy is putting up performances like the one we just watched, 3 hits, a homer, 3 ribbies, player of the game honors, this man should not be an afterthought in how this front office communicates with the fan base. We deserve transparency. We deserve to know what's happening with one of the most productive hitters on this roster, not some quiet little mention squeeze in between Game 1 and Game 2 like it's no big deal. Kirk has earned better than that from this organization, and honestly, so have we as fans who show up every single night for this team. I'll be tracking this closely, and I promise you, the second there's real clarity on what's actually happening with Kirk's situation, this channel is going to break it down in full. So if you don't want to miss that update, subscribe right now. Turn on notifications, because I am not letting this one slide under the radar. Here's my bottom line on all of this. Toronto is playing inspired baseball right now. Kirk and Clement are proving night in and night out that this lineup has real teeth to it. The farm system is quietly cooking up a legitimate catching prospect in Edward Duran, who deserves way more buzz than he's currently getting. And this front office needs to start communicating with more respect for a fan base that shows up and cares as much about this team. That's the state of the Blue Jays as of right now. Real baseball minds know that games like that one over Tampa Bay matter in August. They set the tone for what's coming. So let's carry that energy. Before you go, I need 3 things from you. Like this video if you agree that Edward Duran deserves more attention than he's getting. Comment below and let me know who you think should be starting behind the plate for this team a year from now. And subscribe if you want every single Blue Jays update the second it happens. No fluff, no filler. Just straight talk from someone who actually cares about this team the way you do. Let's go Blue Jays. I'll see you in the next one.